So let's talk about solving equations, okay? You're going to use inverse operations to isolate the variable. I don't know what this guy's trying to say. Let's just dive into it. It says, I am a flying dog. Is it? What's his name? Underdog. Okay. Yeah, I don't know. Okay. Number 11. You always want to do the opposite of what's being done to the variable. So with these one-step equations, it should be pretty obvious until we get to some of the harder ones. Like here, we've got v plus 8 equals 28. So what do you suppose we need to do to both sides? Subtract 8 from both sides. Yeah, so I'm going to write minus 8 underneath the left side. I'm actually going to write it like underneath the 8. And I want to write that underneath the right side. Okay, this is not the time to get sloppy. You want to try to be as organized with how you write this as possible. It will pay off later, I promise. So minus 8 minus 8. So if I have v plus 8 minus 8, these 8s will add to 0, right? Some might say they cancel out. And you get v equals 28 minus 8 is 20. And so there's your solution. So you see, as far as the structure, you write the step that you're doing to both sides, and then you write your answer. And that's it. So for any one-step problem, you should really just be writing 2 lines of text. The step and the solution. How can we cancel out, or how can we get negative 15 to add to 0? What would we need to do to it? Like let's say if I subtracted 15, for instance, that would give me negative 30, right? So what do I actually want to do? Yeah, add 15. So I'm going to add 15 to both sides. Negative 15 plus 15 equals 0, and that's what I want to happen. I want everything on the side with the variable to cancel out, leaving me with just n. And then if if negative 9 plus 15, if I'm guilty of this myself, if you're not that great with adding negatives or doing just any operation with negatives, use a calculator. Don't be afraid to do that. I don't want to see arithmetic mistakes in this class where you can use calculators on everything, okay? If you make algebraic mistakes, that's one thing, right? That's something we could work with. But I don't want to have to worry about you coming up with like, I don't know, 14 for this, right? Like that should not be an issue with calculators. So what is negative 9 plus 15? 6, good. Notice that the way I work this problem is pretty much identical to the way I work this. Like if you are not really looking at the numbers or anything, just you're looking at the structure, just kind of taking a step back, it looks like I did the same thing, right? Like I did a step and then wrote the answer. That's what you do for all these. When you don't see an operation, you just see like a coefficient and a variable, what operation is implied? Yeah, multiplication. So in order to undo the multiplication, I need to divide. So I'm going to divide both sides by 8. When we work this together, I notice a lot of people using the division symbol, like the bar with the 2 dots. You can do that. I'm not going to write it that way. Instead, I'm going to use a fraction bar to note division. So like divided by 8, divided by 8. So this should be x equals negative 7. Again, if you're not confident about dividing that, use a calculator. I'm going to keep hammering that. Use a calculator, use a calculator. Number 14. What do we need to do to both sides of number 14? Divide by negative 4. Okay, you guys are good. Okay, I know that you have done all this in 8th grade. Probably, hopefully, you've done this before. but in order for us to be successful later, we got to master these skills. So negative 32 divided by negative 4. 8. Okay. Notice on this case, I have the variable on the right side. It doesn't really matter if you write it on the left or the right. I kind of like it on the left side, but it's not wrong if you write it on the right side. It doesn't make a big deal. Number 15. When you see this fraction bar, this looks like a division symbol, right? Yeah, that's what's happening is division. So to undo that division, b divided by 8, we need to multiply both sides by 8. So what is negative 6 times 8? Okay, good. Too good. Negative 48. Now, 16 is kind of weird. 16 is a little out of place, actually, because it's not a one-step problem. It's actually a two-step problem in disguise. Okay? The problem with number 16 is this is not v divided by 8, it's 8 divided by v. To make this problem a little bit easier, if you have a variable in the denominator of the fraction, I would suggest that you actually multiply the variable on both sides to get rid of the fraction. If I multiply both sides by v, that's going to cancel out the v on the right side, like v divided by v is 1. And then on the left side, I should have 2v. And now I have a one-step equation. So you have to do this anytime the variable is in the denominator. Notice the variable in the denominator. I'm going to draw a little red flag here. Oh wait, that's a blue flag. We'll color it in red. Okay. If you see a variable in the denominator, that should throw up a red flag. Oh, wait. Something's weird about this one. Okay, you got to multiply that denominator over so that you can actually solve it. Now, once you multiply it over, it's easy, right? Because all we have to do now is just divide both sides by 2. But just keep that in mind, that might come up as like a, that's going to be the tricky one of the day, right? When you got that variable in the denominator.